All right, this is the Brink and Klink History Hour with the kings and queens of history, Mr. Brink and Mrs. Klink. But don't worry, it's not an hour.
Hey guys, day number 2. I couldn't change my shirt, but I had to put on a bib because I didn't want to get anything on me, so hopefully you like my new wardrobe change. So yesterday we were talking about the 3 G's, gold, God, and glory. Those are your 3 reasons why people would risk their lives to get to the new world. Now, what's so special about the new world? Well, again, it's the idea that there are riches over here, there's untapped potential, there are products that people want. You know, people went crazy for stuff from China. They went crazy for the silk, the jade, the gunpowder, the food, the spices. Same thing's true with America. They wanted to see what was over there. The people wanted to get it back. So the faster you get it to market, the faster you're going to make your money. So here's our situation. We had our 3 countries, right? We had Italy was number 1. Then they fell. Portugal was number 1. Prince Henry the Navigator. Then he fell. The new number 1 is Spain. All because of Columbus, okay? He opens up the door and everybody's going to the new world. So here's our situation, okay? Portugal is also laying claim to the new world as well, okay? And it's coming a race of who can call dibs, okay? It's like when you guys go into the living room and you try to claim the best seat on the couch or try and get Sheldon's spot. There's a problem. Spain and Portugal having a big argument, and back in that time, when you had an argument, you didn't go see a court, you didn't go to a judge, you went to church. And the guy that's going to solve the problem would be the Pope. So Spain and Portugal show up in Rome, they visit the Pope, said, Pope, you got to decide this problem, we got a huge problem here. Portugal says all this land is theirs, Spain says it's all theirs, who's it really belong to? Now normally, the Pope's supposed to be unbiased, but at this point in time, as history would have it, the Pope is Spanish. So naturally, he's going to side with Spain. So the Pope, and I know there's a map behind me because my producer, Mrs. Klink, probably put one up behind me, but I'm going to show you this here real quick. Okay, there's a crazy map right here, map of the world. And what happened was the Pope set out a decree called the line of demarcation. Now, the line of demarcation meant the Pope draws an imaginary line, and he says everything west of the line belongs to Spain, and everything east of the line can belong to Portugal. Well, the line went right down the middle of the Atlantic Ocean. So basically, Spain got all of North and South America, and Portugal got like some little tiny islands, that don't mount a hill of beans. So of course, Portugal's upset. They're crying cheater, cheater, pumpkin eater. They want satisfaction. They want to go to war. Spain doesn't want that, so they go back to the Pope again and say, Pope, we have a problem. What can we do? Can we solve this? And both sides, instead of a line of demarcation now, it's a treaty, and it's a Treaty of Tordesillas. Now, the Treaty of Tordesillas is simply, they take that first line that's in the middle of the Atlantic Ocean, and they move it a little bit farther west to where Portugal doesn't get a whole lot more. They get basically Brazil in South America. Spain still got the rest. Now, of course, Portugal's going to cry, cheater, cheater, but the Pope's going to be like, hey, this is all you get. Tough tooties. Now, if you understand anything about South America, every country in South America speaks Spanish, except one, Brazil. In Brazil, they speak Portuguese, and this is why. This is why they speak Portuguese. So you're going to have to look at that map behind me, and I'm going to share my notes out with you so you can see the map better, but basically, Portugal is just kind of getting, sent off to the side, because Spain's got all the power right now. The Pope is Spanish. They got more money than Portugal, and since money is power, they can pretty much do whatever they want. So let's go over these new rankings now, because we have Spain is our new number 1. They are, AP, UPI, coaches poll. They are number 1 in the world. Portugal has dropped to number 2, but they're never going to be number 1 ever again. In fact, they're dropping from 2 to 3. They're going to drop fast. Spain is now 3 because the Silk Road and the Adventures of Marco.
Polo.
Adventures of Marco.
Polo.
Yes. That's still important. China is still the preferred destination. Everybody still wants to get to Asia. Okay? But Italy is now 3 because they have a bad location. Remember that first map that we had up here before was, again, Italy's in the middle of the Mediterranean Sea. They can't get out to the ocean. if you and I are going to have a race and I'm halfway, if it's a 100-yard race and I start in the 50 and you start in the 0, I'm going to win. I mean, there's a video here at the middle school where I do win.
That's not true. It was a down and back race.
That is a lie. I'm sure you'll see it at some point in time. And Mrs. Ziffel and I had a race down the hallway, and apparently I was going so fast that I went out the back door.
And fell on his...
And it was February. It was February. There was apparently ice on the sidewalk, and it was captured by the 7th grade video camera. But that's for later. Just know that Italy had bad location. So who we got? We got to look at number 4 and number 5 in the world. So 4 is France. 5 is England. And the only reason why they're 4 and 5 is because they got the invitation late to get to the party. Okay? News does not travel very fast in Europe at this time. They got the news too late, but they are also trying to find a way to get to Asia. So now there is a new rumor out there called the fabled Northwest Passage. Columbus tried to go in a straight line, ran into Central America, couldn't get through. Magellan tried to go a little farther south, again, could not get through, had to go all the way down to, Cape Horn, come up through the Straits of Magellan, other side. But nobody's tried to go northwest. So what if you left England and France and just kind of traveled in a straight line that way? Could you get across and go that way? Well, it doesn't work out. All they found was just more land. The only guy that got close was Henry Hudson. If you look on this map, and I'm sure my producer, Mrs. Klink, has this giant map of North America behind me, Henry Hudson gets all the way into this giant piece of water. Now it's called the Hudson Bay. And the rumor is that he's going along, and the crew starts to freak out, and they don't want to go any farther. They want to go back. So they have mutiny on the Bounty. They have a mutiny on the ship. So they take Henry Hudson, they put him in a rowboat, and they tie it to a rope, and he's behind the ship. And they start turning the boat around. Henry Hudson's so convinced that he's right, he cuts the rope, drifts off, and nobody ever sees him ever again. What happens to him? No idea. I'm sure he was swallowed by a polar bear or, hooked up with an Eskimo family. I don't know. But, again, England and France are looking for that passage to China. They don't find it. Well, when Spain and Portugal were looking for their passages and they didn't find it, they still found gold. They still found things that they could bring back and sell and make money. Well, here's our problem here, okay? England and France didn't find any gold, but they find something better than gold. So what's better than gold? That's the question here. Because, see, there's a new term coming out here. The term you got to relate yourself to is mercantilism, okay? Mercantilism was better than finding gold. Finding gold is awesome, don't get me wrong. I would love to walk outside, dig a hole in the ground, and pull up a big old nugget. It'd be awesome. But there's a problem with that, okay? Now, mercantilism, for a definition-wise, is trade and developing business to sell products to increase your wealth. So again, the question is to you, what is better than gold? Any idea, Mrs. Z, what's better than gold?
Coffee.
That is true. Coffee is better than gold. Could be.
Diet Coke from McDonald's.
Diet Coke, probably not.
Heated blankets.
Heated blankets, probably not.
Birkenstocks.
Oh, Birkenstocks, Jesus sandals. No.
I got nothing then.
Here's the deal, okay? France is the first to do this. France comes over to North America, and they don't find any gold. What they find is this little creature that lives in the water, got a big flat tail, big buck teeth, and it's a beaver. And beaver fur, extremely valuable. You take the fur, it's a very dense fur. Do you know, like fur, they talk about per square inch, how many hairs you have per square inch? Like, for example, the fur on
Yours is
Mr. Brink's,
zero?
mine, 0.
0.
No hair per my square inch. But on a beaver, it's almost like 10,000 hairs in a square inch. So in other words, it is like waterproof fur. And of course, in Europe and England and France, it rains all the time. So beaver hats, these top hats lined with beaver fur and beaver coats were great because water would just, like a water on a duck's back, would just fall right off. So instead of finding gold, France finds beavers. And they start trapping and selling beavers. And what did they sell the beaver fur for? Everyone?
Gold.
Gold. And can you plant gold and get more gold? No, you can't. Gold does not grow.
You can't plant beavers either.
Yeah, but you can take a girl beaver and a boy beaver and make more beavers.
I didn't take health class.
Well, I'm sure that's not how it works. I mean, it can't like that. But again, you understand the concept. You can get more beavers. Beavers are not going to run out. You can make more beavers. You cannot make more gold. So Spain and Portugal are going to screw up here. They're not going to do it right. They're going to come over here, take all the gold, go back home, and it's like the grasshopper and the ant fable. The grasshopper sits around all summer doing nothing while the ant's working his butt off, and when the winter comes, the grasshopper's got nothing to eat, and the ant's sitting rich. England and France are going to build their wealth. Spain and Portugal are not. So when we come back on our next little segment, our next little session, we're going to talk about controlling the land, controlling the money, and how England and France are going to become number 1 and number 2, and Spain and Portugal are going to go from 3 to 4 to 5 to 6, all the way down to nothing. So I'll see you guys next time on our next segment. Bye-bye.